Guys, I'd like to tell you the way I pretty much control my rods and my reels. I've actually got a board here that you can obviously buy at just about any store. It's an erasable board. But what this does for me, every time I buy a reel, I got a little engraver. And I do two things. I put my initials on my reels and I put a number on the reels. And the reason I do that for twofold. The number one, to keep track of my reels when I go fishing with other people. If I happen to leave one in the boat, I can come back to my board here and immediately identify exactly which reel I'm missing. If I knock one over the board, I know exactly which one I'm missing. I think I've got 16 reels here, but what I do, I make basically 4 lines. And let me illustrate. For an example, this reel is reel number 7. So if I go down, well, let's see, let me make sure, number 4, it's a spinnerbait. So if you'll notice here, I put a 4 down here because it's engraved obviously on the side of my reel. I use it for spinnerbait. I got P15 line on it, and I put it down there, October the 11th. So that way I keep track of when I put my line on there, on what reel, and what's the purpose of that particular reel. And what I do, about every month or two, I go back and summarize. I do a spot check to make sure I got all my reels. And this is the way I control my inventory of what I've got for my rods and reels. The other thing I like to do, I use 2 basic rods sizes. You know, a lot of guys have got, 7.2, 7.6, 7s, 6.6s, pistol grips, 6.10s. I use two rods. I use a 7-foot exclusive for jig fishing. I use ducket rods primarily. And I got these little old carbon lights that I buy at the Bass Pro Shop. And I think these are 6.10s that I use for spinnerbait. I like an 80-20 rod. When I say an 80-20 rod, I want 80% backbone on spinnerbait and a jig, 20% on the tip up here. Very important. Another thing I do when I buy a rod, first thing I do is get my drill bit out. And I drill a hole in the back side of my trigger here. And the reason I do that, instead of these little old clips that got on the side of the rods that aggravate the crap out of it with these lines getting tangled up in it, I drill a hole, which makes it very convenient when I get ready to put my stuff up. I just reach down here, stick it into the trigger of the rod, and therefore it's out of the way, roll the line up on here, and I'm ready to go. That's just the way I control that part of it. It's very efficient. It keeps my rods pretty much entangled, keep them getting tangled up. But another thing I've noticed, and this is key, when you're buying rods, obviously we got the micro mini eyes out there today. We got obviously larger rod tips and stuff. But one of the problems that I see people having today is people a lot of times are throwing braided line. Braided line and mini eyes do not match up. The wear and tear is enormous, and a lot of people are ruining their rods by using braided line, especially when you get above 30 pounds on micro eyes. So what you want to do is take into consideration what kind of line you're going to be throwing, and to make sure you accommodate that based on the size of the eyes on the rod. And I think you'll get a lot of satisfaction out of that. I use basically P15 on spinnerbait fishing. I get good distance, never been broke off on P15, extremely strong. And I've got a variety of lines I use on jig fishing. A lot of people like fluorocarbon. Fluorocarbon is an excellent line. However, I never really got in tune with it. I don't like the crackling sound coming through the eyes, so I stay with monofilament. But I do use one line in particular, and that's an Izor line that I buy on the East Coast. Very strong. The way I test line, I've got a unique way that I feel like that makes me comfortable, is I got an 8-pound barbell, and I got a whole variety of lines that I test. And I take a glove, and I put this glove on, and I tie a Palomar knot onto that 8-pound test line, and I do repetitions up and down on a mat until I can break it. I have yet to break 15-pound P line on about 50 repetitions, or the Izor line. Other lines, the backs I've got out between 20 and 30 repetitions without breaking. And I do some hard jerks on it. It'll snap just like that. So I think it's very important to test your line, to make sure that you as the angler, has got the confidence that what you need in order to feel that confidence when you get in the water. Bass fishing, bottom line, is nothing but confidence. If you think you're not going to do well, you're probably not going to do well. So when you get in the boat, you get in the boat to win, and you got to have the right stuff to win.
Real repair. Real repair.
Reel repair. I get my reels clean. I've been through several guys to have reels clean, but one guy really comes to the forefront. And that gentleman's Ben Tyson. Ben Tyson's quality speaks for itself. I'd like for each one of you to be able to go to Ben's shop and see the amount of quality that goes into when he takes a reel down. When he breaks a reel down, he just don't break it down to a certain degree. He's got tools that he's actually developed over the years that takes every ball bearing out and lays it on some of the most beautiful carpet or whatever you want to call it on his desk there, till it's all the way down to the hub or the inside of the reel. He actually goes to Germany to buy his oil, which is the highest grade of oil that you can put in a reel. I've had so many people come back to me after recommending him to clean the reels that I fail to keep count. His quality absolutely speaks for itself. I've had no one ever come back to me and said he did a bad job. So I highly recommend Ben Tyson. And his phone number, if you're interested, he also does rods, is 704-975-8181. The only thing he does not do is spinning reels, but all other reels and rods, he can fix them for you.